Ah yes, back for more I see. I was just looking over my notes on the next video. So if you've been doing the knee isometrics consistently now, we can go ahead and move to the next step. So let's get right into it. So now that you've been doing your knee isometrics and you've probably gotten into a deeper range with good effort, the next step we're gonna do is called slow strength. So what is slow strength? Slow strength is exactly what it sounds like. It's just you doing strength training, but slowly. The reason for this is that these slower tempos or the slower speeds that you do the lift at means less force in your joint, in your muscles, and everything else. So we're gonna jump right into how to do them, how to progress it, how to track it, and what to do next. Let's get over to the bar. So today I'm going to show you 3 different ways you can do this. The first is going to be back squat, because this is just the be-all end-all of awesomeness when it comes to just general training. But you would just be here and you would just spend a much longer time going down and coming up. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's literally as simple as it is. I would just go into as deep of a squat as you can comfortably. If you can only go to about here or here comfortably, then just take your time going to that depth and then coming back out from that depth. The next version I'm gonna show you is just in a goblet squat. It's almost the exact same thing. The difference would be that you're using a dumbbell or maybe even just body weight at this point. You wouldn't have to necessarily use the slant board. It just makes it really convenient for this specific lift. You could also use plates on the ground, just like a normal squat. But all this is just holding the dumbbell in front of your chest, and then you're just going straight down. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll go ahead and I'll just show you from the side, and you're just sitting back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tempo was a little fast there for doing 5s, but you get the idea. It's a goblet squat. So this last one is going to be something that if you really weren't able to get very deep ranges, or if you wanted to work single leg, you could do this instead. The other benefit of this is that it helps your calf out quite a bit too, but it's a Patrick step up or a reverse step up. You would just stand on the box, right? And you usually want to go to about 345 stacked. It's about 6 to 7 inches of elevation. And you're just pushing your knee out, going down till your heel touches the ground, and then back up. But because of slow strength, same exact concept applies. We're just going to be controlling the weight in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Typically, I would have someone do this as an intermediary between isometrics and doing full back squats, bipedal or 2-legged. I personally have liked this exercise a lot for myself, and I think it's a nice one if you're trying to just work in between the 2 different lifts. Important to note on this lift that when you're doing it, you don't have to keep your butt fully extended, your hip extended like this. You can just have a nice relaxed position. And when we're going down, you don't want to be dipping down using your hip to get down. This is using the quad of the working leg to just lower and touch your heel to the floor. And we're not resting our heel on the floor by just going down, full resting, and then helping by pushing up off of it. So this is a very controlled movement. And again, I've liked this movement quite a bit. So just so you guys understand, there are a ton of different movements that you could do this with, and you could do it with different body parts. It doesn't just have to be lower body. It could be your arms, it could be back. There's lots of different ways to apply the concept of slow strength or just tempos in general. However, you're probably wondering that once you get into it, how do you really progress it? So there's 2 main ways to progress on slow strength. So I think the first and the most obvious would be to increase the weight you're doing at the given tempo. So if you were doing 35 pounds last week for 4 seconds down, 4 seconds up, and everything feels good, then up the weight 5 or 10 pounds and see how that feels this week, and just keep progressing the weight week to week or every few sessions, depending on how quickly you're progressing. But you have to force progress for anything to get better. If you just stay where you're at, nothing is going to get better. So other than increasing weight, I think that the next obvious way would be to increase how deep you're bending your knee. Just like in the isometric, we want to work from a shallow depth to a deeper depth as we can. So the first week, you may only be going to here and up, almost no range of motion at all. And then, you know, each time you come in, you may go a little bit lower and a little bit lower and a little bit lower, and just keep going down as you can to progress. So from session to session, you want to try to increase the weight. If you do not progress the weight, you are not getting stronger, as well as trying to increase the range that you can handle as you're going. I personally like to try and get a bit deeper first before I start increasing the weight too much. In one session, you may increase your depth a bit, and then the next session you increase the weight at that depth, and then you keep going back and forth, increase depth, increase weight, increase depth, increase weight. As long as you're taking small jumps and moving up at the pace that your body is okay with, everything should be fine, but just make sure you are progressing. So now that you're doing it, how do we track it? It's pretty simple. You're just gonna be tracking how much weight you're doing and how deep of a knee flexion you're doing as well. Just like isometrics, you should be tracking how your knees feel basically every day, but don't get too upset if you're having, you know, problems on a one-day basis. It's all about the long run. We're looking towards the future that the weight goes up, the flexion goes up, and that your knees feel better. So short term doesn't matter as much as long term. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button and like. I've got 3 more videos in this series coming out, with a lot more videos planned on different jumping, dunking, and just sports related topics in general. Also, there's probably gonna be basketball highlights and some dunk sessions too, and live streams coming very soon to answer all your questions with you live in person. The other thing is, if you didn't know, I am an online personal trainer. You can go to athleticblueprint.org and get coaching for your vertical, strength, knee strength, and I've been helping lots of basketball players get a lot more athletic leading up to their seasons this year. So the gains are going crazy, and I want you to be a part of it with the entire Athletic Blueprint group. So athleticblueprint.org to find out about that. It is literally the most affordable and the best coaching. You will not find anything else even close to it unless you're paying hundreds to thousands of dollars a month. I put a ton of time into it, and I would love to help you with your stuff too. So with that being said, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for listening to me rant, and I'll see you next time right back here on YouTube, Instagram, or yeah, just YouTube.